Hello, everyone. My name is Tyson Bankert.
Hi, I'm Deborah Sword. Tyson, was there ever a time that you didn't succeed and didn't feel like a failure?
Yeah, I think that happens pretty much every day. There are things I set out to do that don't end up happening. Like, for example, today, I thought I would, we had a scheduled meeting time and I was late. But do I feel like a failure? Not necessarily. I can sort of think and reflect back on as to why that was the case, the conditions that were set, my day prior to to meeting you. Yeah. So did I fail? Yes. Am I a failure? No. And I think those are really important distinctions.
And if you and I were in a conflict and you told me that, I might accuse you of making excuses for
Sure.
having failed.
Right.
And there have been times when I've succeeded and still felt like a failure.
Mm.
So when I practiced law, my client may have been very, very happy with the result and thought had done a tremendous job. And I might have felt like a failure because,
Right.
but maybe it was imposter syndrome. So the two aren't necessarily connected. And yet, when we ask people to use their conflict competencies, I hear, I can't. I
Mm.
failed. I'm a failure. And as if the three go together. I can't. I failed. I'm a failure.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of we see it lots of movies where the person's going for the raise or the person wants to have the difficult conversation with their partner and they look in the mirror and they're practicing and then when they go to actually do it, although it's sometimes played for comedy, they really start to, slur their words, they trip up, they end up usually saying something that they didn't mean to say, and so therefore then that practice that they've had is if they failed. When in reality, I think sometimes it's about how do we communicate, and are we able to ensure that the other person's hearing us.
Yes. And in addition, I can't stress this enough. The two skills that we talk about a
Hmm.
lot, thinking about how you think. So, how do you break that cycle from I didn't succeed, I can't do it, I failed, I'm a failure?
Hmm.
To be aware that your mind is playing this tape for you. And is that an imposter syndrome? And you also hear sometimes people don't get what they want, and it turns out to have been the best thing that ever happened to them. As the example you gave of negotiating, say, was for a house. So you don't get the house, and then you find the perfect house later on, and
Right,
you think, oh, I'm so glad I failed the first time.
right.
But the skill is to practice when you're calm.
Hmm.
So often, when people tell me that they try to use their conflict competencies and it didn't work, I ask, did you practice when you were calm? No.
Hmm. And I think that that's really it's very important to be able to do that because I know from my practice when I want to have a difficult conversation with someone, I might write some thoughts. I might go, okay, or does this act is this really what I how I feel? And I actually tend to get a little bit like go back into the emotions again. And actually that's really helpful for me to then be able to lead into a conversation that then I can start to understand patterns of how I'm showing up.
And that reminds me of something, two other things.
Yeah.
One is the difference between defaulting, going back to what you already know, what's comfortable, what's familiar. I wasn't able to use the conflict competency I wanted because I did what I usually do,
Mm.
that
Hmm.
pattern. If you are trying a new skill, it's not going to feel familiar. It's not going to give you the same comfort of the script that you always use. So the hack for me is to add the word yet. And we've talked
Mm.
about that before. When you say, I can't do it, it's, I can't do it yet. But if I practice when I'm calm, I
Mhm.
will be able to do
Mhm.
it when I'm stressed, upset, or in conflict.
So what it sounds like what we're trying to share really is practice.
Yes.
Practice the competency for sure.
And we are going to keep coming back with more things that you can practice. So
Fantastic.
if one doesn't work for you, we will try something else until you find what does. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you'll subscribe to our podcast, like it, share it, tell others that we're having fun with conflict. Thank you.